As you can clearly see, I've formed a platform with scaffolding to roll the lintel over onto. It's good and solid and it'll take the weight, not a problem. The lintel will now remain on the scaffolding while I rework it. There's no point in trying to lift it down and then lift it back up again when I can do all the work in situ. There's a fair old bit of weight in this piece of stone. It's a meaty old piece, and as you can see, I'm having trouble trying to kind of jiggle it about and move it around to get it to the position I want it in. I managed to do it by levering it across with the old plug-in chisel there. Just pinched it underneath it and jiggled it across until I got it into a position where I felt it was safe to be able to roll it over. Like I said, the scaffolding is good and strong, so I wasn't worried about that. I was more concerned with it rolling out of control and crushing me. Now at this point, I dare say one or two of you are wondering why I took the prop out that's holding up the brickwork above. Well, the simple answer is the brickwork is self-supporting, because it does have a row of headers running through it, so it's not going to come down anytime soon. And as per usual with this job, the sandstone is covered in a thick black paint, and below that is a very thick cement slurry. So I'm just figuring out the best way to remove that and get it back to clean stone ready for recutting. Believe it or not, this will come up like a new piece of stone when I'm finished with it. It'll be recut, lovely and flat, lovely and clean, no paint on it. And then we'll refit it. Maybe like a new one. Excellent. You see, what I'm doing here now is I'm chipping the paint away, because it'll be so much easier to work the stone if I can get this paint off before I start to work it. So this paint is a bugger to get off. Also, the reason that I've taken it out is because it'd be a damn sight easier to recut and reshape out of the building. Easier to take it out and put it back in than bugger about trying to do it in place. I do have a lovely set of hand-forged, fire-sharpened Italian masonry chisels in a lovely, shiny box. But unfortunately, I forgot to put them in the car this morning. The joys of not having the van. Normally, they'd be in the van in their rack. But what I do have is this scutching chisel, and it seems to be doing the trick, so I'm not too bothered. It's got a new scutching bit in it, so it's really cutting into that old stone nicely. The oak wedge is for stopping the stone from rocking. Basically the energy that I'm putting into that hammer and chisel is supposed to be going into the stone, but what's actually happening is because the stone is rocking, half of that energy is disappearing into the, shall we say, the rock, or the rocking motion. And the wedge just stops it rocking and holds it solid. Of course, at the moment, all I'm doing really is removing the paint and the cement slurry and a tiny, tiny bit of sandstone. The majority of the cutting will be done once all the paint and slurry is off. I'll then attempt to level the stone up the best I can with the hammer and chisel before I attack it with the machine. Whenever you're trimming stone up like this and you get towards the end of the piece of stone, whether it's the underside of it, the top side of it, or the indeed ends of it, work inwards, don't work towards the end, because the chances are if you work towards the end you're going to knock a big chunk out of that corner. So you put your chisel on the corner but work into the stone rather than away from the stone, if that makes sense. So we're now at the stage where we're starting to remove the high spots. Now bear in mind that this piece of stone was originally flat, square and neat and tidy. But the stone after all is 160 years old. Well, the stone itself is a lot older than that obviously, but the lintel is 160 years old. So there's a lot of erosion on it. There's not actually that much rot in it. I was surprised. I thought there'd be a lot more rot. Well, there's only a tiny bit on the edge, which you can see me just chipping away there. But it's a high spot there anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It all has to come off to be able to recut it. Right, well that's all the real high spots taken down now with the chisel. Next step will be to attack it with the machine. Okay, it's what day are we on now? Wednesday morning. Right, I've just been down to the garage, talked to the mechanics. The van is now running well. A couple of little bits that he wants to get done on it, and then that's it. We get it back. Thank goodness. Are you ready for this, boys? Up to now, £1,700. Scary. It's had to have new timing chain and bits and pieces, then it's had to have new injectors. I don't know how this has all gone wrong, but, you know, it did. It's probably because I thrashed it down the motorway and it's not done it for a long time. Possibly that, I don't know. But it's all good now and well serviced. Right, let's get this stone done. Remembered it today, and the little hand or I'm going to attack it with the machine in a minute though. Right, so that's a couple of little high spots that I missed yesterday. Just wait to get. So we're going to attack it with the machine, but for those that you don't know, this is known as a raking chisel. Now this is a hand-forged Italian fire-sharpened steel chisel. I've got a nice collection of these chisels for working stone. Right, let's get this machine on the go. So we start off the cutting with a 5-inch diamond cut disc. Now this is a high quality one. I think they're about 80 quid now, these. You can buy them cheap on the likes of eBay and Amazon for like 20 quid or something, but to be honest with you, they're not going to last 2 minutes, because these are, like I say, these are high quality ones. Okay, let's do it. Dusty. It's even getting in the dust mask. See, now that's not really flat, by the way. Perfect. Alright, so that's sort of the first stage. There'll still be high spots on there that I have to get rid of, but I'll come back to you in a short while, because obviously it's a long process. I don't want to bore you, so we'll come back to you when it's ready for the next stage. And you can notice there's no gaps between the stone and the straight edge. That's how it needs to be. And it's same the other way. Now we know that's lovely and flat and ready for the next stage. So what we do now is put our straight edge on the top, and we go along with our pencil. Not on this face, but on the top face that we've just cut. So that we've got a nice straight line, and we'll work to that straight line. Now, at the very end here is a nib on it. Now that nib is the actual original bottom of the stone. But this bit here is eroded away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that nib on, because that's where it sits on the brickwork. And we can fiddle about with that and make it up with a bit of stone dust and some prompt cement later on if need be. That way we're not ending up with really big beds when we put it back on, because we've got that nib which is going to take up most of the clearance. Okay, I'm going to have a cup of tea now. A dusty one probably. Right, so we're now ready for the next stage. I'm going to use a flapper disc next. This one is a 40 grit. You don't want any more than a 40. And bear in mind, you've got to be careful with these, because these are quite violent, and they will take chunks out of your stone if you're not careful. Is that it? Is it done? No. We've got another stage. Right. Sanding time. And we'll use the chisel just to pry it over. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to wrap up a little bit of prompt cement mortar. The reason I'm using prompt cement is because it's going to set a lot quicker. Now it is breathable, there's not a problem there. You can also use a bit of prompt cement for, right there, that hole, tiny little hole that's in it, which is where there was some mud in the sand and the sandstone form. So I'll put a little bit of prompt cement and stone dust into that, which will fill it in, and the obviously the stone dust and the prompt cement will be more or less the right colour. Right, let's mix some gear up and get this beast back in place. Right, so the procedure is the reverse of what we did to take it out, which is get it up against the brickwork, lay it down, and then tip it up. Move that. Oh, she's a beast. She's in. And there you go. All we've got to do now is bed her in and check for level. Right, so the level's saying that this end wants to come up. So what we'll use is an oak wedge, and we'll put it between the brick and the stone, which will lift it up level, and then we'll pack it with mortar. Okay, so she's level now. So what we want is the old boat level to make sure she's plumb. Right, again, she's ever so slightly out of plumb, probably 2 mil, but it's in line with the brickwork. It's nice and flush with the brick. So we'll let it go at that. And that's it. That's how you take out and refit your stone lintel. And of course recut it. Right, let's get a bedded in and get some bricks in. Now the mortar I'm using is a combination of a grit sand and prompt cement. It's a weak mix. I don't want anything stronger that's already in the wall, but at the same time I need it to set fairly quickly to support everything and make sure this stone doesn't fall out. Now, if I was to do it with lime, it'd be quite a few days before it was stable. Whereas with the prompt cement, it'll be a couple of hours and that's it. But it's breathable, which is the main thing. I wouldn't recommend it if you were doing a grade 2 or a grade 1 listed structure. Be frowned upon a little bit of that. But a bit of a repair to some stone, or like we're doing here, wanting some brickwork to support quickly, prompt cement I'd say is a-okay. There you go. Right, so that's one sandstone lintel removed, recut and refitted. I wouldn't recommend you having a go at doing this if you've no experience in it. It's one of those jobs that takes many years of practice and knowledge, etc., to be able to achieve. Next step now is drop this bit of scaffolding. Let's crack on. It's warm. Right then, boys and girls, that's it. It's done. Scaff's down, job's done. Do you want to look? Of course you do. And there you go. That's pretty much how you do it. That's it for this week's video. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, don't forget, give us them thumbs up. I like them thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed and you're enjoying watching the videos. And we shall see you next week for another episode of buggering about with old buildings. We may have the van back next week too. That'd be good. See you next week.